It's time to chill out and get ready for a mediocre Q&A live stream. If you're old enough, grab yourself your favorite adult beverage, and if you're not, stick with apple juice. Put your feet up and relax. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. And now let's cue up the intro music. Hello. How are you guys doing this evening? That was probably a little loud. I saw my mic thing clip when I said hello. Hopefully you guys are doing well over here. We are doing well. The weather is warming up, and yeah, we still got cool mornings. Super foggy the other morning. Actually, that's kind of sad that I bring that up, but the first morning that we had fog was the morning that the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash happened. So yeah, that was kind of a bummer. But anyways, hopefully everything is good. Over here, I am getting ready for the AHR show. I will make it official that I will be at the Sporlin booth at the AHR show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Monday and Tuesdays. For those of you guys that are coming, definitely come by and say, hey, I might have a few goodies to give away. Not a lot. I have very limited quantities of the stuff that I'm going to bring, but I have a few of them left, so I will be giving away a few things. And then I will be all around the AHR show too. I registered as like a media thing, so I'm going to be there filming and doing all kinds of stuff, and I will be around, all right? And for those of you that were lucky enough to get tickets, I will also be at the HVACR school symposium that Brian Orr is putting on too, at the Kalos offices in Florida too. So I will be at that on Friday and Saturday. I will actually be a speaker on Saturday, so it's kind of cool. Kind of a cool event. My family and I get ready to leave, and we leave Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. So tomorrow night, essentially, we probably won't go to bed, because here in Los Angeles, being that we have one of the bigger airports in the country, I got to get to the airport at least 3 hours early just to be safe. That and my anxiety kicks in. But anyways, let's start this off like I usually do. Just a little introduction for those of you that are new in here. My name is Chris, and I'm an HVACR service technician. I make YouTube videos. I'm assuming that's how you found this live stream. I do these live streams to kind of answer and consolidate the questions and answer them all in a live format, basically, because I get emails and comments and all kinds of things, and some of them I respond to, but a lot of them, like if they're repetitive questions where I think that they'll benefit other people, I'll usually answer them in a live forum. And then I just consolidate the questions. I have a whole list on my screen right here, and we'll get to them. I also will address the questions in the chat too. Keep in mind, for those of you guys that are new in here, The chat is a great place, the live chat, to post questions. Feel free to do so. Please put them in caps lock, okay? And if I don't answer your question right away, post it again. You're not going to piss me off, okay? Because they're scrolling by. Like I'm not paying attention to the chat. I'm looking at the camera right now, and I see it scrolling by out of the back of my corner of my eye. But so much has gone by. So feel free to repost them again, okay? If you guys miss anything, my email is hvacrvideos@gmail.com. And you know what I just realized? I knew I forgot to do something today, and I didn't put the new movie quote in here, so it might repeat from last week because I'm not going to do that right now. So anyway, so there won't be a movie quote. All right, so got a couple things I want to cover as usual. And let's see if I'm missing anything in here real quick, okay? I don't think I'm seeing anything yet. Is Captive Air going to be at the AHR show? I don't think so. So I don't know, though. The AHR show, I've never been to the AHR show. This is the first time I'm going. I've been to like our local trade show here in Southern California, which is on a much smaller scale. I want to say that I read something that said the AHR show last year had 60,000 attendees, which is flipping nuts. I think my trade show might have 2,000 attendees. Nothing like that. So it's going to be held over 3 days, basically, the AHR show. So all kinds of manufacturers will be there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think it's more engineering stuff. But for those of you guys that don't know what the AHR show is, it's a way for manufacturers to market their products. It's more geared towards engineering, but I think it's kind of changing a little bit. There's going to be tool manufacturers there showing all their new tools. I know Field Piece Tools is going to be there. All the major brands are going to be there. There's also training classes. There's certification classes. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the AHR show. So if you guys ever get the opportunity, I think it'd be really cool. Again, I've never been. This will be my first time, but it should be a good time. So, all right, let's see what we got going on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump on my list right here. And again, guys, feel free to throw comments and questions in the chat, and I'll try to get to them, okay? The last video that I released, I only released one video since the last live stream, okay? And the video was titled One Thing Leads to Another. It was a very interesting one because it was a service call, and I thought it was going to be just a humidity call because they said that the dining room was warm all throughout their dining room. And, when I got there, if you guys watched the video, you saw that it was just like Pandora's box. Every air conditioner, had issues, dirty filters, bad belts, exhaust fans, bad belts. But the way that I walked up to the call was I had a hunch in my head as to what it might be. And as I walked up there, I kind of ran into some other problems. Immediately, before I even started fixing AC problems, I noticed that all of the filters were plugged up. So I can't do anything until I change the filters, okay? So bring it up to the customer, make sure they're cool with it. Got to do it. Got to get the filters changed. Went ahead and did that. And then in the middle of changing the filters and starting to diagnose some cooling problems, I noticed that I was checking the exhaust fan belts. And when I went to turn one exhaust fan off, it wouldn't turn back on. And then I ran into a problem. I want to bring that up because I had some comments about this. And, when I'm making my videos, I'm verbally, trying to let you guys know my thought process. And again, that's kind of how I work anyways, is I'm verbalizing as I'm thinking. Even if I'm not filming videos, I usually talk to myself like that. It just helps me to troubleshoot a little bit better, at least in my crazy head. So I lost my train of thought there. I've been doing that a lot lately. Anyways. Anyways, but as I'm talking, to myself, I try to verbalize things. And one of the things that I verbalized was, I bet you it has a bad motor. Okay. And then I got a bunch, I'd say 3 or 4 comments saying, I knew it wasn't a bad motor to begin with. But again, in my head, I instantly thought it was a bad motor. But I didn't just stop with that. Okay. Looking at the big picture like I always do, I went ahead and tested voltage and found that we had a bad power switch. And then I bypassed the power switch temporarily and then moved on from there. Okay. On a side note, that exhaust fan, I've been sitting on a video for that exact exhaust fan where I had a motor starter trip about 4 months ago, and I could not for the life of me find out why the motor starter tripped. I ended up replacing the motor starter because I couldn't get it to reset, and I haven't released a video on it. I'm actually sitting on the footage, and it's kind of funny because I have the new footage, and I might edit it all together and make like a little story with the videos. But yeah, so a couple months ago, 4 months ago, whatever it was, call on an exhaust fan being down, went out there, found the motor starter tripped, it wouldn't reset, checked everything was fine. And it's funny because 4 months later, the switch is bad. So I can't help but think that that switch has been going bad for a while, causing issues. And that's probably what caused that motor starter to trip. But anyways, I digress. I'm going off on a tangent again, as I usually do. So as I was doing the service call at hand, the video, you know, exhaust fan down. So at that point, and this is going to segue into a lot of questions because I've been getting a lot of questions about this. At that point, I knew, because I know my customers, that that exhaust fan is critical and that restaurant cannot operate without that exhaust fan, okay? So I jumped on the exhaust fan immediately. What I did was I went downstairs. I'm communicating with the manager the entire time. I went downstairs and I said, hey, I was checking your belts. I noticed that one of the exhaust fans isn't running. I need you to create a work order for that, because at that particular customer, we have to have a work order. It's through Service Channel. So we have a separate not to exceed value in a work order for every single ticket. So, you know, I had them create the work order. I jumped right on it. I thought it was going to be a motor, but nope, it ended up being a switch. So I got it up and running within a half an hour. Boom, you know, bypassed the switch, checked everything else out, and got them operational. Okay, my customer depends on me, and they expect me, and I know what they expect of me. And they expect me to make sure that their equipment is operating properly. I communicate with the facilities department, and I communicate with the management on site, and I have a very good relationship with them. And so, you know, I didn't even call the facilities department. I just told the manager, create a work order, I'll get on it. Okay, cool. You know, they have confidence, so we jumped on that. So then we went through the rest of the video. Thanks for becoming a supporter, Southeast Elevators. I really appreciate it, bud. That's awesome. Thank you very much. So then I jumped back on the normal service call and started going through every AC. But remember, I had to change all the filters. Then I had to make sure that the units were operating, change the belts. So it turned into a giant preventative maintenance. Ironically, the customer had stopped their preventative maintenance 4 months earlier, 5 months earlier, whatever it was, to save money till the end of the year. So here it is. They're getting their savings right back in their face, basically. Okay, but it is what it is. So, and I'll cover that a little bit more once I get past this video. So yeah, the video was interesting service call, and that stuff happens to me quite often. You have to learn how to have a level head. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to some of the comments here and see what I'm missing here. Yeah, sorry guys with here. You know what? I could do this real quick. Hold on. I think I can change this. Let me see. I can. I could do this timer and turn this stupid tombstone quote off. There you go. Okay, cool. The timer's off. I'm back to my normal screen. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had to turn off the movie quote thing because that was bugging me. All right. Any recommendations on cleaning the Sman 460? I believe you're going to want to read the instructions, but off the top of my head, I believe you use the same stuff that you would use to clean the micron gauge, which is like a certain type of alcohol, right? I can't pronounce it. It starts with a D something alcohol. But what I would highly suggest is just Google the PDF for the instruction manual for the Sman 460. Now, what is it that's dirty on them? Because if the manifold itself has like sludge inside of it, you're probably going to need to send it back to field piece. But I mean, is it just like, what is it that's causing a problem there? But it would probably be just alcohol. But I would highly suggest you read the PDF from field piece to see what it is that they want you to clean it with. Yeah. All right, let's see what else I got going on here. I covered that one. Hey there, Ralph. My buddy's here. How you doing? Guys, I'm going to go ahead and post this now. I'll post it again later. For any of you guys that have refrigerant-related questions, my buddy Ralph in here is always willing to help out. So I always help out and post his email address. I posted it right there. Ralph works for Honeywell Refrigerants, and he's always willing to help us out when we have any kind of conversion questions, regulation questions. Ralph's the man to go to. So I just posted his email in the chat, and I'll try to remember to post it again later on in the stream. Did I replace that condenser fan motor? Anthony Lovato. No, I did not, actually. We have had such mild weather that we haven't had an opportunity to go back. Now, the customer has since started up the preventative maintenance program again. As of January 1st, they started it back up. So we are due to go out there. So as soon as I come back from AHR, as long as it lasts until then, we will go out there and bring it up on the preventative maintenance, and then they'll approve it. It's just the way you got to deal with things. But yeah, it's been so cool outside that we haven't had the need for that third condenser fan motor because they have 3 total. So Let's see. What's my thoughts on Bluon TDX20? All right, so here's the deal. I am not going to talk crap about anybody, but I am not personally a fan of replacement refrigerants. Now, I will tell you that if I was going to use a refrigerant alternative, I likely, if it was feasible, I would likely use 407C and do a polyester oil change. That's my thoughts. But I would highly suggest reaching out to my buddy Ralph, and he has some alternatives that might work a little bit better if you can't do an oil change. So Ralph should be able to help you guys out on that. Let's see what else I got. Yeah, denatured, however you say that, Ralph. Thank you very much, bud. That's a big word. Too big for my small mind over here. Let's see. Just internal manifold cleaning, trying to protect the investment. Oh, dude, yeah, probably just make sure. It's probably just using that alcohol is probably what it is, bud. All right. Let me see what I'm missing here. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get to my list. So, Honeywell Jade sensors. That's another one, too, based off of the video that I had a lot of questions about. Why was there so many Honeywell Jade sensors that were bad? Economizer sensors in general, guys, fail quite often, okay? Because they're located in the outdoor airstream. A lot of times there's a massive amount of air running through them. The same thing goes with mixed air sensors. The sensors are located in airstreams that really aren't that clean, and it's concentrated air, right? Because if you have a zone sensor down in the building, it's not really having a mass amount of air flowing across it on a regular basis. But inside a package unit, you know, or in the ductwork, there's a massive amount of air being funneled across that sensor, and the little particles of crap in the air, any moisture in the air. And one of the biggest issues I will tell you guys with the Honeywell Jade sensors is technicians going to the restaurant and doing a preventative maintenance and hosing off the minimum outside air dampers, the metal mesh filters with a hose, with them still installed in the unit. The Honeywell Jade sensors, they always get wet and they short out. And it's usually people being lazy. Now, that's not the only thing that causes them to fail, because they will fail just by themselves too. But I often see, I'll have to go back when people do preventative maintenances, and it's like, dude, you got 3 sensors that are bad now that weren't bad before you went to do the PM, and it's because they were just being lazy, hosing off the unit from the outside without taking the metal mesh filter off. All right? But the fact that they're located in the airstream does not help either. So very common for those Jade sensors to fail. I actually usually keep 3 or 4 of them, probably usually 4 in my van. But there's 2 different types. There's the Silk, their proprietary control setup. I think it's Silk Bus, and then there's the standard sensors. So I usually keep like 1 or 2 of the Silk Bus sensors, and then 4 of the standard, normal analog sensors in my truck. And we go through them pretty quick. So it's a good selling point. I mean, I guess Honeywell could look at it that way. So, all right. Let me see what I have here. Is 0 degree delta T possible? You found an RTU with a 70 return and a 70 supply. You've never seen that before. Something is funky there, Mr. Psychometrics. That is very funky, bud. Yeah, that sounds like a performance issue with the unit for sure. Do I treat a system with R600 the same as an R290 system as far as the procedures? So I have not worked on R600, but I would. Yeah, it's a flammable refrigerant just like R290. So R600 is the isobutane, right? I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive that's what that is. Yeah, you would treat it just the same. Same refrigerant practices. Same thing that I would do with even the mild flammable refrigerant, like like some of the mild flammable ones. I would still do the same thing. Purging with nitrogen. Do not use a recovery machine. Actually, no, I should say that. On the R600 and the R290, you do not use a recovery machine. But on the mildly flammable, yes. That's a really good question, actually. I'll have to do some research on that. As I'm starting to talk right now, I wonder. I'll have to do some research to find out. You probably have to use a special recovery machine on the ones that are mildly flammable. Huh. Very interesting question. There's all kinds of new stuff that we're having to learn these days, so it's very interesting. HVACR vlogger, Ernesto, you ask, who's going to be in charge of the company when I leave? We have people in place. So I actually run the company with my dad. So my dad doesn't work in the field anymore, so he will just be taking over my position. And holding down the fort, and let's just hope that when I come back from this vacation that I still have a place to work. So, you know, I might be staying in Florida. Who knows? All right, let's see what else. Let me see. You know where True stands on this. Where do other manufacturers stand on service taps on R290? You know, it changes from manufacturer to manufacturer. One of my technicians said he went to go work on a Delfield unit, a glass tender unit, and it came with service ports factory installed in R290. They weren't pinched off. So I have seen both ways. I see majority of them come with no service ports at all, and they want you cutting them off when you're done. But I have seen some units coming with service ports. In my opinion, the whole point of cutting the service ports off is just to make the service technician think twice about putting his gauges on there next time. But I will argue that it's kind of becoming a little unnecessary, especially as it's becoming a more popular refrigerant. I mean, you know, we kind of got to, if we're doing our jobs right, we really could have service ports on there, and we stop and think before we apply our service gauges, right? So I'm going to be honest with you. If the unit's not in warranty, I'm going to leave the service ports on. So that's how I'm going to do it. I've even left them on some warranty jobs too. Don't tell anybody. All right, let me see what I'm missing. Oh, cool. Right on. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate it. Oh, right on, 716 Appliance guy. Yeah, HVACR North, Joe Canada, we call him. Joe's my buddy. So Joe's part of the HVAC Overtime show. So cool dude. Like him a lot. Very nice guy. And me and him, I pick at Joe all the time. We have some side chats and stuff going on where we pick at each other. So he's a very nice guy. All right, I'm going to get back to my list here. So great question. And Mr. Ice, I believe you asked me this, and then I think someone else asked me this too. So how do I approach the customer in the video that I released? How do I approach the customer with all the repairs? For instance, they called me out there about an air conditioner, their dining room being hot. So how then do I go to them and say, we need to do $3,000 worth of work, or whatever it was, $5,000, whatever the cost was, right? I had to change filters. I had to spend all day there cleaning the units, changing belts, all that different stuff. And it's really easy. I'm completely open and honest with my customers, right? First off, my customer gives me a not to exceed value that's very generous, okay? And I know that even though I have a not to exceed value of that amount, I can say it, the not to exceed value on my invoices for that customer is $1,500. So the not to exceed value doesn't necessarily mean that every one of my invoices has to be $1,500, but they trust me enough to know that if they give me that value, I'm allowed to do repairs up to $1,500. And then when you break it down that way, if I have them issue multiple work orders, then I have multiple not to exceed values. So I have to be fair though, and I have to be honest with my customer because, you know, sure, I could get away with charging $1,500 on every invoice for like a month, and then the customer is going to look at me and say, wait a minute, you know? So we're upfront and we're honest with them. And just because we have a not to exceed value doesn't mean that, you know, we're going to hit that not to exceed value. So, and furthermore, with most of my customers, I even have, for instance, if I have a compressor go bad on the weekend on a critical piece of equipment, a walk-in cooler, walk-in freezer, a beer walk-in, an ice machine, I'm allowed to change it without even asking permission. Okay, because we have understandings with our customer and I know what they need to operate. So things like an exhaust fan. When the exhaust fan failed in that video, I knew I needed to stop what I was doing because they can't operate without that exhaust fan. They will shut the doors, and that is an unacceptable thing for the customer. So I know what I can do. It's an understanding that I have with the customers, and it's an agreement that we have, and I know what I need to do. And here goes the Coke nose, guys. I don't know why it always itches like that. So let's see what else. Okay, I'm not missing anything else yet as of yet. Okay. So yeah, it's all about being honest and communicating with the customer and the entire time. And that's another thing too. And I try to tell this to my technicians too. As you're on a job, you know, I don't worry if a customer wants to come up and stare at me. I don't really have that often, but I actually enjoy it because it gives me someone to talk to other than myself or other than my camera. So I like to explain things. And if I want a customer to get out of my way, I'm going to give them so many facts. That's another, a tip for people that want to get customers out of there, right? Is basically be honest with them and just talk their ear off. you know, they come up there and they're asking me questions. I start asking them questions. And then I start pointing out like, hey, you see this wire right here? We need to fix this. This can become an electrical short. And I'm going to point out all kinds of things. And then I'm going to educate them. I'm going to tell them like, hey, but I really don't mind. But I mean, that's how I would get rid of a customer if they were all bothering me. But in general, I like to talk to people. So I'm honest and I'm, you know, I kind of know a little bit about what I'm doing. So I just explain it to the customer. All right. So another question that I had, which was an interesting one, someone asked me, why are some exhaust fans up blast and down blast? Okay, and what we mean by that is if you look at like a mushroom style exhaust fan, some of them blow the exhausted air out the top of the fan, and then some of them blow it out the bottom of the fan. Most of my experience is that if you have a kitchen exhaust fan that is meant to have any sort of grease running across it, there's an actual special exhaust fan that's meant to handle grease. Those are typically going to be up blast exhaust fans or side blast exhaust fans. They're specifically designed to catch the grease, funnel it into a grease trap, and then exhaust the air. For the most part, you don't see very many down blast exhaust fans. I have seen some, but it's all about cleanliness. You know, they have to have those exhaust fans cleaned on a regular basis. So if they have a down blast, then it's going to become a fire hazard because it's going to be so difficult to clean. So that's my understanding as to why we have up blast and down blast. There's also other situations where you can have a side blast and a side mount, you know, with mounts on a wall and all kinds of things. So all different types. Can you pinch off an equalizer tube and install an internally equalized TXV and have no problems? You recently saw this and seemed to be working. Well, it really depends. I'm not a genius, okay? I have an idea of the things that can go wrong with that. And mainly you're going to use an externally equalized TXV when you have multiple circuits on that evaporator, okay? So typically you're going to have, like on a walk-in freezer coil, you're going to have like 4 or 5 distributor tubes going into the coil, and that's technically different circuits on the evaporator. So that's when the externally equalized TXV is really going to come into play. I have seen on some reach-in coolers, like a Trolson stand-up freezer, they come with an externally equalized TXV, and I have seen people pinch those off and put a standard TXV, but I would not recommend it, okay? Typically, I don't even want to know the problems that I'm going to run into because it's just going to end up in a headache, okay? So if your system has an externally equalized TXV, I highly suggest you put it back, especially if it has multiple circuits on the evaporator. Let me see what else I got. V-necks for life. Yeah, I don't got my V-neck on today, but I should have done it in support for my Canadian brother up there, Joe North. All right. You are on hold with tech support for over an hour before talking to a tech. What do I do during things like that on the job site? Great question, Storm. I had that happen to me today. It was very interesting. I went to call Captive Air because I was working on a Captive Air exhaust fan, and I needed to program a VFD. And for those of you that want to get annoyed, I needed to program a VFD drive. I say that just to piss you off, but it was very interesting. When I called Captive Air, they didn't even give you an option to wait on the phone. They said either leave a message or we'll call you back. So that was interesting. They basically just took down my number and they called me back, and they called me back in about 20 minutes. So it was pretty timely, but sometimes you have to deal with tech support and it's a pain in the butt. So here's what I suggest. If you're waiting for tech support, if you haven't already, make sure you have all the information written down and you've tested everything you can test, because there's nothing worse than waiting for an hour on the phone for tech support to answer. And then they ask you, did you check this? And you say no, only to hang up and then wait for another hour. Joe, thank you very much for that super chat, man. You are the man. Thank you very much, bud. So, yeah, when I'm waiting for tech support, I have a Bluetooth. Typically right here, you in my old videos, you guys probably saw me wearing this a lot. But yeah, I have a Bluetooth, and so I can work and move around, start cleaning things up, testing, adjusting, getting my meter out, and just everything ready for when tech support gets on there. And then I say, this is what I found, this is what I did, da 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 da, and then they can help me a lot faster. So, all right, let's see what I got going on here. When will I be having another video Q&A where we can join and ask me questions directly? Greg, I don't know. You know, one of these days. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out. So definitely something I will do again, though. So, all right. I'm going to go to my list right here. So why do these customers, and I know some of you already know the answer to this, but why do these customers stop their preventative maintenance programs? That's a good question, right? I deal with commercial restaurants. That's my number one client, is chain restaurant accounts, okay? chain restaurant accounts, they're corporate restaurants, and there's a game involved with running the finance of those corporate restaurants. The game is that they need to make the end of the year numbers. They need to finish out a quarter with good numbers. If you finish out a quarter with bad numbers, you finish out the end of the year with bad numbers, then your shareholders get upset. The shareholders get upset. They stop buying more shares. The revenue going into the company starts going down. Okay. It's a bunch of BS, right? It's just stuff. But that's what happens with these corporate restaurants. Hey, Scott, HVAC rookie, thank you very much, man. That's an awesome super chat. Thanks, bud. So when we're dealing with these corporate restaurants, this is just part of the game. You have to play the game with them. So just know that as you come towards the end of the quarter, they're either going to have a bunch of money left over that they need to spend, or they're going to be out of money and they're going to pinch for the rest of the quarter. And then usually come the new quarter, everything's good again. That's just how they work. Okay. So you just got to kind of play the game. This particular customer that was in that video, they've already started up their preventative maintenance program. So we're back in action. And now it's funny because January 1st, they said, hey, we're ready to start them again. Can you have all the restaurants done by January 22nd? And we said, no, not going to happen, because we know that we need time to do these maintenances. So, and I will tell you that the preventative maintenances has been off for like 3 months, 4 months, whatever it was. So it's been taking us 2 days to get those stores back into shape. So it's taken some time to get them back into shape. So they're spending it right now. But again, we're being fair, we're being honest, and we're just giving them a list and saying, how do you want to tackle these problems? Do you want to hit this, this, and this? Do you want us to do it all? What do you want to do? And we just give them all the options. So customers always involved. Am I still going to upload videos to HVACR tools? Brian Cobes, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Yes, sir, I am. I was kind of laughing, though, because it's kind of funny to watch the subscriber count grow, even though I don't have any videos on there. But yes, I am going to upload videos to that, I promise. So the videos uploaded to HVACR tools is not going to be on the same schedule as I do with my HVACR videos channel. So I'm not going to be doing 2 videos a week. But yes, I will be uploading things. And guys, I want to express that the videos on my HVACR tools channel, it's going to be a different style of a tool review channel, okay? It's going to be the way that I do things. I'm not going to be owned by anybody. Nobody's going to tell me how to make a video, tool manufacturers, or anything like that. So it's going to be my style of videos. Personally, I don't like to talk crap about people if I don't have to, so I don't plan on doing reviews on a bunch of tools that I think suck. Okay. So, you know, if you guys don't see certain tools, there's probably a reason, but I'm not going to be out there posting and blasting everybody, because that's just not my style. Okay. If I don't got nothing nice to say, I keep my damn mouth shut. So, let's see what else we got. Emergency maintenance. That's right. HVACR tech. What are my thoughts on doing side jobs? Mr. Psychometrics. I personally am not a fan of side work. Okay. I don't do it myself. It bites me in the butt, and my family tends to call me when I'm busy. So the way that I approach things with my family, you may not consider family side work, but I tell them, look, if my mom calls me and says her air conditioner or her heater's broken, I'm going to drop it and go fix it for my mom. Same thing for my dad. If it starts to be brothers and sisters and cousins and different things like that, they're going to get put on the back burner. I'm going to do as best as I can, but I usually tell them, look, I'm busy. It's the middle of summer. I got to keep my business going. So if you can wait, I'll take care of it. If not, go ahead and send me the quote, and I'll tell you if they're ripping you off or not. And that's how I approach it. Okay. And I'm just pretty honest with people. I used to bend over backwards for everybody, but I stopped that because I realized that even though they don't mean anything bad by it, it eats you alive trying to fix the world's problems. So I do my own way. And then if I can help someone along the way, I try, but I don't bend over backwards to help people. Now, as far as my technicians doing side work, I can't control what they do on their off time, but I can tell them that they better not be using my likeness, meaning they better not be working for any of my customers doing side work. Absolutely not. They better not be working for, I don't even allow them, let's say, for instance, we have a restaurant manager. I don't allow them to go fix the restaurant manager's air conditioner at their home because it's a conflict of interest. You don't mess with that kind of stuff. So 716 Appliance Guy, thank you very much for that super chat, man. That's awesome. You guys in these super chats, they're amazing. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of side work, but again, I can't control what my guys do, but they better not be using my tools. They better not be using my vehicle. They better not be, using my likeness, and they better not be working in a conflict of interest situation where it can hurt the company. So, and they can't compete either. They can't be doing side work on refrigeration for restaurants and be a competitor of mine. That's unacceptable. But again, what they do on their personal time with their tools, that's their own business. So, all right. Am I still going to I already answered that one. Chris, know anything about any R290 certifications? Trying to be proactive. Government is going to want us to have something sooner than later. 716 Appliance Guy, you do not have to have any certifications to work on R290 systems. However, True Manufacturing, which is one of the largest self-serve refrigerator manufacturers out there, they do require that you pass a video certification test where you basically watch a video and take a handwritten test before they will allow you to do any warranty work or ship you any of their R290 refrigerant. But there is no government law that says you have to be certified to work on R290. Furthermore, you technically don't even need an EPA certification to buy R290 because it's propane. So, I definitely suggest if you're looking for a certification, 716 Appliance Guy, go to rscs.org. They have a really good training class on R290 refrigerants, okay? I wish I could tell you that you can watch one of my videos and become certified, but none of the manufacturers have reached out to me to give me that ability to give people certifications. So check out rscs.org for sure. Let me see what else. Greg asked me if there's any updates on the video where I recently uploaded where there was many problems. Yeah, that's what I was kind of already talking about a little bit, Greg. But yeah, there's still some issues. I still have to go back. That's another thing too. The kitchen AC on that video, the one that had oil on the compressor and the panel was laying on the ground, I still got to go back and fix that too. I got the unit operating. I tested for any electrical shorts, nothing shorted to ground, turned it back on and it started running, but we definitely still have a leak on the discharge line somewhere too. So that'll be something that we'll bring up when we do our preventative maintenance. So, hey, my buddy Zach's in here. How you doing today, Zach? All right. HVACR vlogger, you said everyone in your neighborhood knows you don't do side work. It's cool when you help someone out, but it ends up being a problem because here's the thing. The way that I see it is if I go out and help someone, I'm going to feel so guilty if all of a sudden it stops working after I fixed it. And then I'm going to get eaten alive in guilt and not be able to focus on my work. So I'd rather just get some overtime at work than do side. But I mean, I'm not saying I won't help out a close friend or something, but it's just, it's a gray area, you know? All right. And even if you help someone out doing side work and you're like, oh, you're a good friend, I'm just going to charge you cost or something. They still want you to warranty it. And that's where things are like sour. Like, what? You still want me to warranty that? Like, I didn't make any money on this, you know? So it's kind of a mess. All right, let's see what I'm missing. Any recommended books, technical or business? The two books that I will recommend, let me reach back and grab them real quick. Commercial Refrigeration for Air Conditioning Technicians by Dick Wers. The cool thing, guys, I really like this book, and I actually took an online class with Dick Wers, and I get to meet him this Friday and Saturday. Actually, he's going to be Friday and Saturday. He's going to be at the HVACR School Training Symposium event, where he's going to be a speaker on Saturday, and then I go right after him. So I'm really stoked to be able to meet Dick Wers and shake his hand. That's cool. The other book that I think any business books you can get, but as corny as it sounds, Financial Peace, Dave Ramsey. I talked about this in the video with my wife. That book changed me too. So learning how to get out of debt and operate on a cash basis. And, you know, it's not perfect. I'm not going to say I follow every single step, but those two books right there. So Commercial Refrigeration for Air Conditioning Technicians. There is a link in the show notes of this live stream once it posts. And I'll try to remember to put a link for the Dave Ramsey book too. Dave Ramsey has a couple business books too. Very, very smart dude. So, all right, let's see what else we got going on. What do I think of the Field Piece SRL8 leak detector? Terry, not a fan of it. I've never used it, so I can't talk crap about it, but I've heard enough to say I'm not going to buy it. Be patient. That's all I can say. Be patient with the Field Piece leak detector, okay? That's all I can give you with. Now, right now, personally, I use the Detect Select leak detector by Infocon. I've used it for years, many years. It's a great leak detector. I've also heard really, really good things about the Detect Stratus by Infocon, which is their new fancy leak detector that has a parts per million readout. So that's something that I'm interested in too. But yeah, I have nothing. I can't comment directly on the Field Piece leak detector because I've never used it. I've just heard enough people make some, you know, have some bad stuff to say about it. So, all right. See you later, Ralph. Appreciate it, bud. Let me see what else. What am I missing in the chat? Okay, I already answered that one. All right. Have I tried the Detect Stratus? No, I haven't tried it yet, but I definitely want to get my hands on it. Guys, here's where I'm at in my head. I'm kind of twisted up, and maybe I'll change my mind tomorrow. I've probably said this a few times. At today, right now, I do not want to take any free tools from manufacturers, okay? I may change my mind later, but right now, no free tools, because I don't want to... The way that I think about it right now is I don't want people to think that I'm promoting something just because someone gave it to me for free. So that's where I'm at, and that's why I don't have all these fancy tools. But I do want to try to change some things with the tool channel and stuff, and that's why the tool channel is going to come out. So things will change eventually, but I just got to make sure that I stick to my morals, and I want to do things my way. So, all right. See you later, Scott. All right, let's see. How do I decide what parts that I carry in my truck versus ordering Storm? So I use the most common things. Like I keep a lot of Delfield temperature controllers, starting components, and dryers in my truck because I work on Delfield refrigerators at my company almost every day, myself or my other technicians. We keep the most commonly used parts. So I keep Manitowoc ice machine parts. I have a few Hoshizaki ice machine parts. I have generic condenser fan motors for walk-in coolers and freezers. Liquid line filter dryers. So it's just basically what I use on a regular. And then, I don't carry compressors. I don't stock them at my shop, but our supply houses for the most part are all open. Although I will say, which is kind of scary, if any of you guys are local to Southern California, this is kind of a trip. RSD, Refrigeration Supplies Distributors, they're our number one refrigeration wholesaler. Them and United Refrigeration are the two big boys. And then there's Allied Refrigeration too. But RSD just announced that February 1st, they are canceling, no longer doing 24-hour emergency service. So you can no longer go to RSD to get a compressor at 2 in the morning. They make you wait until the next day. That's a bold move by them. I'm sure there's a lot behind it, but that's an interesting one because as a refrigeration contractor, I got to open a supply house every once in a while. And now RSD is going to lose out on that sale. That's kind of I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I'm sure there's a bunch of drama that happened, and it has a lot to do with California. We have a bunch of funky laws too. There's a bunch of overtime laws and all kinds of weird things. So it's probably a mess financially for them, but I can't believe they're getting rid of 24-hour service. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's see what else we got. Am I going to the HR Expo? Quality, comfort, HVAC. So for those of you guys that are in here right now, yes, I will be at the AHR Expo in Orlando, Florida, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I will be at the Sporlin booth Monday and Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I will also, again, I guarantee they will probably be gone by 10:30 a.m. I have on Monday. I have a few goodies to give out, very limited quantities of a certain product that I mailed out to a lot of people many months ago. So I have very limited quantities. I will be handing those out at the AHR show, probably going to be gone right away. So if I don't have them, sorry, I don't have very many of them left. But yes, I will be at the AHR show. I will also be at the HVACR symposium, the HVACR school symposium that Brian Orr is putting on. Guys, if you guys are going to the AHR show and you happen to be in the Orlando area, definitely look at the HVACR school website because Brian's event was sold out, but I heard he had a few cancellations. I don't know if he still has tickets left over, but I heard he had a few 2 days ago. He may still have some tickets. Guys, don't go to that show for me because I'm nobody, but the people that are going to be talking at that Brian show are I'm so stoked to be able just to go, let alone that he has me as a speaker. I don't know what he was thinking having me as a speaker, but anyways, great people, great event. So yes, I will be actually leaving tomorrow. I'm going to leave Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. out of LAX, and I'm going to be in Orlando all week, basically from Wednesday to Wednesday. So, and just so you know, someone's staying at my house, so don't be punk ass. All right, let's see what else we got. How do I size a new condenser, appliance, and HVACR based off of the heat load, the heat of rejection needed by the compressor? Basically, that's how you size a new condenser. That's kind of a loaded question. So do me a favor and send me an email to hvacrvideos@gmail.com, and I can probably help you a little bit more without asking you questions in the chat. Fluke196, dude, thank you for that super chat, man. That is awesome. All right, you're a stealth homeowner wanting to do HVACR, PLC programming, PT. You've studied for months, including me. You did own your own manual J&D and replaced everything in your house A+. Oh, right on, bud. All right. Glad to help. Do I plan on making a video of some of the vendors at the show for those of us that can't make it? Yes, guys, and that's a great question, and I should bring this up right now. I do plan on making a video for sure. I have a press access to the HR show. So supposedly I could get in like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the show even opens. So yes, I'm going to be taking video like crazy. I plan on being there to get people walking in. I plan on filming, interviewing manufacturers, things that I think are cool. I'll definitely try to get some of they're going to have like this big old podcasting thing with all the podcasters. I'll try to get those guys on film. And I will definitely work on releasing a recap video of the HR show. But then on top of that, if I have internet service and everything is good, then I will do a live stream somehow from the HR show and or from somewhere. Okay. So, but there's also a possibility if I don't have internet service that there won't be a live stream next week. But I already have videos scheduled. Okay. So I have a video scheduled to release Friday and I have a video scheduled to release Sunday night. So there will be videos for the week still. Okay. So that'll be taken care of. And if I can, I will definitely live stream. You got to think, you know, they said that last year there was 60,000 attendees. I don't know if that was all in one day, but if there's that many people at the show, the internet service is going to suck because everybody's going to be using cellular data. But if I can, I will do a live stream. I will Facebook lives, all kinds of stuff, guys. So I will definitely be filming everything, even if I have to post a video later. So how high of actual amps versus LRA amps before you say it's too high? Example, 15 LRA and 14 actual amps. Anthony, send me an email and let's talk about that a little bit more. hvacrvideos@gmail.com. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got in here. All right, let me see. I'm seeing what questions I'm missing. Okay, don't look I'm missing anything there. If I missed your guys' questions, throw it in there. Am I going to play intro music? Am I going to play my intro? Oh, at Brian's, yeah, I wish. Hey, guys, do me a favor. Check this out. I wish that you guys gave me permission because I would have played it on the intro of my thing. But look at the HVAC overtime, guys. Subscribe to that channel right there, okay? Let me hit, the HVAC Overtime show, guys, is not gone. Just a new channel. If you haven't already, go subscribe to the channel. I'll post a link in here right now. HVACR Overtime. Hold on just 1 second. Post a link to the channel. It's taking me a minute. Someone send me a link for the HVACR Overtime channel, and I'll post it in there. It's taking me a minute. Oh, wait, no, I could do it this way. Hold on. There, go to channel. There we go. That's how I could do it right there. Okay, so I'm going to post a link right now. HVAC Overtime channel. Go check. That's all the overtime guys that were previously on Zach's channel, but they're going to be on here now, on their own channel now. So everything's still good. Everybody still talks to each other. It's just they just moved to their own channel. So check out that channel, guys, for sure. Okay. All right. Terry, thanks for coming in, bud. If I missed any questions, guys, throw them again. You really want to meet the HVAC jerks. Oh, right on, HVACR Vlogger. Yeah, they'll be there too. I think they're going to be at the podcast booth like forever. I see them there a bunch of times. Let's see. It didn't break up HVACR Tech. They just moved to a different channel. It was time for them to move to their own channel. If you think about it, inevitably that had to happen, right? Because they were their own personalities. So inevitably they were going to have to move to their own channel. So that way, you know, but again, no bad blood or anything. Everything's all good with them. Do live stream Monday with live audience. It's possible, Retread. I mean, if there's enough people that are there, I'll do a live audience. I don't care. For sure. I'll do it. Have I ever had to install an economizer on a split system? I don't know that I've installed one myself on a split system, but I know that it's not really any different. You can order you can order a Micrometal makes economizers for split systems. I've seen them on the commercial side, so you can order them. You just got to know your duct sizes, your outlet sizes, and it's just going to have dampers just the same. The only difference between an economizer on a split system and a standard package unit is the package unit has an outdoor air damper for you to pull air directly into the unit. So if you have a ducted split system, then you're going to have to run an extra duct for outside air to the outside space and then have that dampered. So that's the only difference. All right, let's see what else. Had a neighbor with the company. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Also, guys, if anybody happens to see me at the AHR show, Don't stumble. Don't stop and think that you saw me. Say what's up. I'll probably be wearing my HVACR videos t-shirts. Stop me and say what's up. All right? All right. You should do a video with my dad like I do with my wife. Yeah, that's an interesting topic. Maybe one of these days I will. Maybe I'll talk to my dad and see if that's something he's interested in. He's pretty, yeah, maybe. I'll see. I'll see if that's something he's interested in. All right. Why would I break a vacuum instead of refrigerant? Okay, so wait. Vijay. Why would I break a vacuum using refrigerant and then vacuum again? Oh, okay. So that's an old school method called a, what did they call that? Why can't I think of the term right now, guys? What is it when you break a vacuum with nitrogen or refrigerant and then vacuum down again? What's that called? For the life of me, it's on the tip of my tongue right now. But that's an antiquated way of doing an evacuation on a system. We realize that nowadays we have better pumps and we don't need to do that. So we have better pumps, we have better hoses. There's no need to do that. Triple Evac. That's what I was trying to think of. It's called a triple Evac. And so common was in the past, you would pull a vacuum down to a certain level, break it with R22, then continue to pull the vacuum, then break it again, then continue to pull the vacuum. What they were trying to do was remove moisture in the system using R22 because it would absorb moisture very well. Right? But we've realized that you don't need to do that anymore. A triple Evac is pretty much useless if you have proper evacuation equipment. Remove the gauges from the picture, remove the Schrader cores from the picture, vacuum core removal tools, some True Blue hoses or some Appion hoses directly on the machine, directly to the pump, pull a vacuum. You will realize that there's no need for a triple Evac when you're doing something like that. If you have a moisture-laden system, I highly suggest purging and sweeping with nitrogen to try to blow out any moisture. That's if there's that much moisture in there, blow it out. But then you're just going to pull an evacuation, and I'm not going to do a triple Evac. There's much smarter people than I with the whole evacuation thing. So I'd suggest looking up AccuTools on YouTube, Jim Bergman on YouTube, and he has a lot of cool stuff on evacuation and explains it a lot smarter than I. So, all right, yeah, triple Evac. All right, let me see what else. Yeah, we have better micron gauges. We have everything now. So, yeah, Joe is a recovering R22 addict, Justin. I saw that, dude. Yeah, that was hilarious. So, yes, I did see that, Justin. That was awesome, bud. And Joe, that was your freaking all of you guys. I'm not going to say what it is that the guys are talking about, but you guys will see it soon. Subscribe to the HVAC Overtime channel, and you'll see something that I'm talking about right now, and it is flipping hilarious. Every one of you guys did awesome on that video. So, all right. I'm going to get back to my list of stuff to talk about real quick. So, why don't I show my install videos? I get this one. You know, people say, hey, you got all service call videos. How come you don't show installs? It's very difficult for me to show an install. First off, I don't show my employees in my videos, guys. It's just best practice not to do so. My guys probably wouldn't care, but it's just best practice to keep them out of the videos, okay? So, that's one of the issues why I don't show installs. It's a little bit harder when I've got multiple people. When I'm doing installs, there's usually 3 to 4 people there. We're trying to get it done as fast as possible. We've got a different frame of mind. Occasionally, I'll turn a camera on, but that probably makes a little more sense too, why if I've ever shown an install video, it's usually pretty choppy. Like it just shows this, and doesn't really show much of the work. That's because I'm trying not to show my employees, okay? Nothing wrong with them. It's just best to leave them out of the videos. Let me see what else. Oh, it is public, Joe. Okay, I didn't know that, Joe. Definitely, yeah, guys, go check out that video. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so after this, guys, go subscribe to the HVAC Overtime channel and then look at their video. It's flipping hilarious. So, all right, let's go to my list right here. Okay, great question that I had. On a call like my video that I released, and the video that I titled it, One Thing Leads to Another, and it was just like a clusterfuck of stuff. It just led and led and led, okay? How is it that I don't get frustrated with a call like that? And I do, guys. I do get a little bit frustrated, but I remember something. First off, I walk into a call with a level-headed mind. Even if it's a super busy call, I focus on the important things, right? I've got a lot of stuff going on. The customer wants me to fix all these different things at once, but guess what? I look at the most important things. Even if I walk into the restaurant and the customer said, I've got air conditioners down, I've got exhaust fans down, and I've got an ice machine down, and they say, I need you to fix the ice machine. No, not happening. An ice machine is not a priority in that situation because they can buy ice. An exhaust fan is a priority because they can't operate without the exhaust fan. An air conditioner, maybe. I'm gonna put exhaust fan first, air conditioner second, ice machine last, because they can buy ice and they can survive. So I'm gonna prioritize things. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna communicate with the customer, let them know everything that I'm doing every step of the way. Tell them, like, look, this is why I'm not addressing that right now, because that's not important. I'm gonna focus on these things. But then again, why do I not get upset when they stop doing their preventative maintenances? So now I have a full day's worth of work. Who am I to bitch? I've got a full day's worth of work, right? They're keeping me busy. It's job security. Yes, they stopped their preventative maintenance. And yes, that sucks, but I have no control over that. There's nothing I can do. That's what restaurants do. They do silly things sometimes. I don't sweat the small things, guys. I do my best to do what I can. And, and just try to keep a level head. And yes, stuff frustrates me. Stop asking questions in those ways. And what I'm going to say is I used to be in the habit of when a customer would call me on a Saturday night and they say, my walk-in freezer's down, I need you here. And it's 9:30 at night. And I'm sitting here thinking, and I would say, wow, what time did you notice that it was down? And the manager would say, well, when I came in at 7 a.m. this morning, it was warm, but I thought it was in defrost. And now they're calling me at 9:30 at night. But guess what? I used to get angry about that, and I stopped getting angry because guess what? It happens over and over and over and over again. I actually stopped asking, what time did you see it? I don't even ask anymore. Your walk-in freezer's down? No problem. We're on our way. And go do the call. Because that stuff, don't let it even bother you. Just do your job and move on, right? And, let your company know if they're overworking you and you can't keep up with all the work, then call in backup. You just do your best and don't get so upset with things. All right, let's get to the chat and see what I'm missing here. Don't sweat the petty stuff. That's right. Oh, that's funny. I almost read that whole thing, but that's funny. Fly, Eagles, fly. All right. Let me see what I missed. Do economizer requirements change if the system is a split system as opposed to an RTU? No. Anything over 2,000 CFMs, I believe, has to have a smoke detector and an economizer, I believe, in Southern California. I believe. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Anything over 2,000 CFM has to have an economizer and a smoke detector. I believe that's Title 24 requirement. So no, you got to have economizers. Now, where it really runs into a problem is when you have like a mini split. How can you have an economizer on a mini split? So that one's questionable on whether or not they're going to bitch about that one. But on the commercial side, you got to have economizers. Let me see. Roop TV, you're sending me a Tecumseh AEA 4430 ZAA horsepower rating. You need to send me an email to hvacrvideos@gmail.com, bud. So, let me see what else. Thoughts on leak stop, UV leak stop products. Anthony Lovato, throw them in the trash and don't use them. That's all I can say. I am not a fan of additives in the system, leak stops, that kind of crap. I've used dye 3 times in my career. I regret all 3 times that I used it. I do argue that there was a reason why I used dye, and it was because there was so many flipping leaks, but that stuff has haunted me. I still have there's still 3 systems out there, and every time I go work on them, the dye goes everywhere. I'm not a fan of it. If you use it, good for you. It's not my choice to use any of those leak additives. I've also used the leak additives. I've used a couple different types. I'm not a fan of them. So I'm just not a fan of the additives or anything like that. Just throw them in the trash. That's my opinion, but to each their own. So, all right, let me see what I got. Yep. Justin, my moderator's sniping them right off the top, man. So he's got it covered. All right. Yep. All right. Let's see what else. I'm going to go to my list right here. Oh, that's another thing I had on my list when I just talked about being frustrated on calls. And the way I have on here to type, I typed out, it's an opportunity to make money and film cool videos when someone calls me out about a crazy, restaurant that's got all kinds of problems. And that's exactly what it is. I have fun. I get to fix things. I like to work on stuff, guys. I run a business with my father. I absolutely hate working in the office. I enjoy being out in the field and just fixing things. That's my favorite part of the job. Sometimes I wish I could just be a technician working on things and not have to deal with any of the owner crap. So let's see. How is it that my customers let me do all this work? Let's go ahead and get into this one now. All right. I kind of already addressed the fact that they trust me, but that's exactly it. I'm fair with them. And I'm upfront with my customers. And I tell them, look, these are the repercussions of not doing the preventative maintenances, but I'm not going to harp at it. I just say, what do you want me to do? This is what's broken. I need to clean all this equipment. And that's something too. When I have a restaurant like that, guys, I kind of already covered this a little bit in the beginning. I'm upfront with them. If I walk up to an ice machine, let's say a restaurant calls me and they say my ice machine's not working, and I look at it and it's disgusting, and it might just have a bad water float or something, I tell them I can't do anything till I clean it, period. Even if it looks like a water pump's bad, nothing I could do. Need to clean the machine first. Clean it properly, then troubleshoot it. Same thing goes with PM calls. They call me out, tell me air conditioners aren't working. They need to be cleaned first. There's no point, because yes, it has a bad compressor, and yes, change the compressor, but then you're going to be tripping over yourself because you can't get the pressures right, or your saturation temperature is wrong, or you don't got the right TD or whatever, and it's because the unit's dirty. Clean it first, and that's what I do. I just let them know, look, before I can troubleshoot anything, this unit needs to be cleaned, and I'll take pictures and show it to them. Try to grab the customer by the hand, take them up there and show them, look at how disgusting this is. Guys, I'm going to be releasing a video. It's going to take me a long time to edit it, but it's an ice machine repair, and it's another one of those where I shoved the cleaning brush up in the spray tubes, and dude, it was disgusting. That one will come out soon too. It was like black crap in the spray tubes. Nuts. All right. Twisdom, you said you were told to use leak stop by a customer who insisted you install it on his system, formerly HVAC engineer. You went out and bought it, sat on site, threw it away, wrote up for 8. I did that once too, Twisdom, where a customer, but I actually used it, where the customer said they wanted us to use it, and I told them, I don't recommend using this crap. It's gonna mess everything up. And they said, no, use it. It was a leaking evaporator on a York package unit. I said, sure, here you go. Put it in there, made them sign off on it. 2 weeks later, they called me. It's not working again. Well, I told you that stuff wasn't going to work. Now your system's all contaminated with leak stop. What are you going to do? Not my problem. You know, that stuff's nasty. Just, you don't know what it does. That's my opinion. Okay. I don't know what it does. In my opinion, just throw it out. So, can I remove head pressure valve permanently? HVACR King. You sure can if you want to, but there's going to be repercussions, possible repercussions. Depending on your system, you can get away with the fan cycle control. I'm not a fan of using fan cycle controls. I like head pressure control valves the best. But if you don't have a cold climate, then maybe you don't need a head pressure control valve. Just be careful, because systems are engineered a certain way. There may be a reason why there's a head pressure control valve. For instance, if you have an ice machine, even if it's not that cold outside, you need a head pressure control valve, because they typically have a hot gas defrost of some sort, and they need the head pressure basically to make the hot gas defrost work. So on an ice machine, a head pressure control valve is mandatory. Okay. So just be cautious taking parts out, but I'm not going to lie and say I haven't taken a headmaster or head pressure control valve out of a system and put in a fan cycle. I have. I'm not a fan of it though. Fan cycles can be very harsh on the system when they turn on and off, especially if you only have a single condenser fan motor. Fan cycle controls are definitely more acceptable if you have multiple condenser fan motors and you can stage them one at a time. It's a little bit better. But if you have a single condenser fan motor, I'm not a fan of using a fan cycle, and I'd rather use a head pressure control valve. So, all right, let's get back to what else we got. You said I started videos for my employees. Do you still have them watch my videos? Yeah, my guys watch my videos. I probably wish they'd watch them a little bit more. But yeah, they watch them. They comment. Sometimes they're in here in the live streams. Actually, I know one of my techs that watches the live streams, but I haven't seen him in here today, but he's usually watching them. And then they all comment about the videos at different times. You got to remember too, though, a lot of times they're actually on the call with me filming the video. So, you know, you got to give them credit that maybe since they were with me, they don't really need to watch the video, you know? So, how do I decide what components I will bypass in a pinch versus shutting down the unit until the parts arrive? It's a life safety issue. I'm not going to bypass safeties when it comes to gas heating components. You know, I'm not going to lie and say I've never bypassed a pressure control in a pinch, but as long as it's not a critical pressure control, I would never bypass a pressure control on an R290 system. I would never bypass anything on an R290 system or any refrigerant system that has flammable refrigerant in it. Do not bypass anything. But just remember that when you bypass something, even if you're trying to help the customer out, you're putting yourself and your company on the line. So if you choose or your company chooses to have you bypass something, just understand that there's repercussions that can come from that. And, you know, those repercussions, if they can be a life safety issue, definitely don't do it. You don't ever bypass fire alarms, anything like that. So it really just depends on what it is that we're working on. Let's see. Weaver, you asked me to test a thermostat for a reach-in cooler. Do I ever stick a thermal couple in the evaporator near the sensing bulb to monitor coil temp for on and off as opposed to monitoring room temp? If it is a coil sensing temperature controller, for sure, that is a very good idea. And in fact, my buddy Rick, HVACR Survival, has an interesting video testing a true thermostat on a true reach-in cooler using that exact method that True recommended in their sequence of operation handbook on testing coil sensing temperature controllers. And that was simply to put the thermocouple near the sensing bulb, turn the evaporator fan motor off, and test the temperature of the coil. So yeah, that's a good method of testing the thermostat if you know where it's supposed to be and if it's a coil sensing thermostat, for sure. Guys, if I'm seeing a lot of questions coming through right now. If I miss any questions, put them in the put them in an email, hvacrvideos@gmail.com, and I'll try to get to them, okay? I see a lot of stuff passing by. Yeah, all right. Do I have any videos of replacing dual pressure switch? Brett from Brisbane. I don't know that I have a specific video replacing a dual pressure switch. I'm sure it's on a compressor. A lot of times if I have a bad compressor, I'll usually change the dual pressure control as one of the components I change with the compressor. So I'm sure there's plenty of videos with me putting them in, but I don't have one specific video changing a dual pressure control. Send me an email if you got a question, Brett. hvacrvideos@gmail.com. Beer is the perfect head pressure control valve after work. That's very good. True, HVACR King. Bypass equals load test of insurance policy. JTH. Great point, man. It is. It's you're putting yourself on the line. Guys, very important, you know, when you're on these calls, going back to the video that I was talking about, when shit starts to go sideways, keep your head straight, right? Maintain a level head when things are getting kooky, because when you start making mistakes or start taking shortcuts or second guessing yourself is when things really go bad. So even if you're frustrated, even if things aren't working out and it's getting critical, try to remember to keep cool, keep your head straight, because that helps you to get through these situations. I can promise you, every single one of the service calls that I've ever had that turned into the biggest cluster Fs, where my head hurt, I'm stressed out. In the end, you look back on it and they're usually the biggest learning thing you can have, right? It's an experience that you look back on when you're done and you're like, oh, okay, I know what I did wrong. Or, you know, that was funny. That was a stressful day, but it was kind of funny. You know, some of my most popular videos are compressor change outs in the middle of the night and different things like that. And they were stressful at the time, but later on I can look back and say, oh yeah, that was an interesting one. You know, it's just, you just look back on it and reflect. So try to keep your head straight when shit goes sideways. All right, let's see what else we got. Am I a member of RSCS? Brian Cobes? Yes, I am a member of my local Arrowhead chapter of RSCS. Guys, for those that you don't know, rscs.org is a training organization. It's a nonprofit training organization that has regional chapters. They're definitely not as big as they used to be, but yes, I am a member of the Arrowhead chapter of RSCS here in Southern California. We have two very active. Well, I shouldn't say two. I think it's either 3 or 4. I know they were starting one of the chapters back up, but we have a few active chapters here in Southern California. So, yeah, HVACR Tech. You said you worked on a pump and they had bypass the starter and disconnect. That's kind of sketchy when you start bypassing a lot of those critical components. That can be dangerous. So, all right, advice for a new contractor. Operate your business debt-free. Best advice I can give you. So that's the best advice. And before you become a contractor, if you're already up shit creek, you know, just deal with it, but understand how HVAC works and operate your business debt free. You will be a happy contractor. I promise you that. So if you can, some people don't, that's just my style of doing things. So, all right, let me see what else. Have I serviced any other natural refrigerant systems other than R290? No, Brett, I've only done R290. R290 is the most popular one on the commercial side in the States here. If you get into the residential side, R600 is very popular, but R290 is the most popular on the commercial side. So let me see what else. Does oversizing a dryer make a restaurant less sticky? HVACR King. No. A dryer. Well, first off, what do you mean by a dryer? A filter dryer? A filter dryer is a component that you put in the refrigeration system to keep moisture out of the refrigerant. That doesn't do anything with the moisture in the building, okay? I don't know if you're talking about a dehumidifier. That might be a little bit different. A dehumidifier, I don't deal with those, but you can install dehumidifiers to remove humidity. But I kind of feel like you're talking about a filter dryer, and that's a component that keeps moisture or removes moisture from refrigerant that's installed in a sealed refrigeration system. So that would not affect the stickiness in a building at all. Do I work on chillers, AC tech? No, I don't, bud. Light commercial refrigeration, restaurant stuff, that's about it. I've worked on like the most basic chillers before, but nothing big and giant, and I'm not qualified to speak on them at all. Let me see. I'm going to go back to my list right here. Oh, great question I had. So someone asked me about customers that skimp on their preventative maintenances, and they were curious if there's other things they skimp on too, such as throwing out bad food and things like that. While I do know that there's some cases out there of people that don't, take care of the proper stuff they should in a restaurant and don't treat their food properly, I will say for the most part that most of my customers, I really don't work with customers that are disgusting, like to the point that they're not throwing food away or that they've got spoiled food in their equipment. I usually don't work with those kind of customers because even though there's money to be made, it's not the kind of money you want to make because you're just going to be part of a issue later. You know, if they're that cheap on fixing their equipment or throwing away food, then they're going to be cheap on paying you too. So for the most part, most of the customers that I work at, I would be eating their food if I had to. Even what a lot of you guys think, or a lot of the people that aren't in the restaurant trade think when they see the reach-ins in my restaurants that have like some dirty food in the bottom or something like that, that's really not even that bad. Even the ice machines that are disgusting inside, I still eat ice when I go out places. So there's what people think is disgusting in video really isn't that bad, because what I don't show is what I don't work on is really bad. I mean, if that makes sense to you guys. So so I had another question about walk-in coolers, and the question was, do all walk-ins have a pump down solenoid? And are low pressure switches only on pump down systems? So that's a great question. No, all walk-in coolers will not necessarily have a pump down solenoid. Now, I will say a pump down solenoid is a very smart thing to prevent liquid migration, okay? But you can operate a walk-in cooler simply off of a thermostat. If the thermostat can handle the load of turning on the compressor, I've seen some walk-ins that literally have a thermostat and they don't have a low pressure or a high pressure control, and the thermostat turns it on and off. It's not a very smart design, but it is possible. With a situation like that, you have potential for refrigerant migration. You have issues like that could happen. But you do not have to have a low pressure switch. You do not have to have a pump down solenoid for a walk-in cooler to work correctly. There is methods to do it, but there's going to be repercussions. You could have flooded starts and different things like that where the refrigerant all migrates to the wrong places, washes the oil out of the compressor, just creates a disaster of a problem. So it's best to have a pump down system. They work the best. They prevent liquid migration, and they prevent flooded starts. They prevent washing out of oil in the compressor. So liquid line solenoid valve. If you have a liquid line solenoid valve, you definitely have to have a low pressure control for sure. And a high pressure control is highly recommended, but you at least have to have a low pressure control with a liquid line solenoid valve if it's a pump down system. So, all right, let's see what I'm missing in the chat. What BTU is a scroll compressor capable of? Joe Burke, every compressor is capable of outputting different BTUs. So it really depends on the load that you have that requires a certain size of compressor. So every compressor is different. You can have all the way down to like probably, well, I know quarter horse, third horse, eighth horse, and then all the way up to the sky is the limit as far as tonnage of a compressor. So let me see what I'm missing in here. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button, guys. It really, really helps out the stream. I'd really appreciate it. Do I work on hot side stuff? Jason, no, I don't. I only work on light commercial refrigeration and air conditioning. That's all I do. So, all right, gentlemen. So let's recap real quick, just so that people know, anybody that just came in here, I will be at the AHR show this upcoming week. I will be at the HVACR training symposium at HVACR school headquarters Friday and Saturday night. I will be at the AHR trade show in Orlando Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, I will be at the Field Piece booth from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Definitely stop by and say hi to me. And if any of you guys are going to be at the show and you're walking around the trade show, definitely stop me and say hey. I will have some handouts, some goodies to give away, but I guarantee they're going to be gone in the first half hour of the show. So if you guys see me in the beginning, definitely hit me up. I might still have some of them left. HVAC overtime is back, Yamo. We already plugged the channel, I'll plug it again, guys, real quick. Definitely go subscribe to the HVACR Overtime channel. I'm going to throw the link in here right now. And let's see what else I have here. Seeing if I'm missing any questions in here. Made it to the chat. That is a question. All right, so let's see what else. Guys, if you got more questions, throw them in the chat. I'll get to them. What does ton of essential AC mean? Joe, you got to send me an email, man. Those questions are too open-ended and too vague. So hvacrvideos@gmail.com, Joe Burke, and I'll answer those questions for you, okay? How is my new tool review channel going? Brett from Brisbane. I have not released any videos on that channel yet. I'm just letting the subscribers grow. No, I was just waiting for the new year. As soon as I get done with the AHR show, we'll definitely get on it. I've got some stuff that I already filmed. I just need to edit it together, and then we'll start posting videos on that new channel, guys. So in the show notes of this video will be a link to my new YouTube channel. It's called HVACR Tools. Check it out. Give me a subscription, and I'll start uploading videos soon. Do I work on boilers? No, I don't, Anthony. What time will I be at the Field Piece booth? Doc Manx. I am not scheduled to be at the Field Piece booth, but I will definitely be stopping by to say hi to my friends. A little birdie told me that will be some video of me at the Field Piece booth, though, meaning that I filmed some videos with Field Piece about a month and a half ago at Field Piece headquarters, and I was told, I don't know if this is still the truth, but I was told that those videos are going to be shown as like backgrounds and things like that. So that'll be kind of interesting. So theoretically, I guess I'll be at the Field Piece booth the entire expo. Interesting. But no, I'm not scheduled to be at the booth, but I'll definitely stop by and say hi to my friends over there at some point in time. So should you have a crankcase heater operating in the summer? Yeah, you don't need to worry about a crankcase heater hurting your system. I mean, in a perfect situation, the crankcase heater only runs when the compressor's not running. It's not going to hurt anything leaving it running. Okay, it prevents refrigerant migration for sure. So remember, you can still have refrigerant migration without a crankcase heater. I mean, with a crankcase heater when it's cold outside. So the crankcase heater helps. So just it's best to have them on there. Don't worry about it overheating the compressor. You need 4. Oh, okay. Dominic, you're asking about new gauges. Yeah, the Sman gauges, I would highly recommend those. If you want a 4-port, they have them. If you want a 3-port, they have them. Go with the Sman Field Piece gauges. They're definitely worth it. The 480V and the 380V, awesome. And they work with the job link probes too. They don't come with the job link probes, but they work with them. You can do wireless temperature clamps, everything. If you have the job link kit, it'll basically sync and all the numbers will come up on the manifold too. So it's really, really cool manifold. What would cause a compressor to ground and trip a breaker on startup but not give continuity to ground on legs? Send me an email, FeedDizzle, hvacrvideos@gmail.com. I'll definitely be able to help you, okay? All right. Let me see. Any advice for hiring your first employee? Remember, talk to them like a person, treat them like a person, treat them like you would want to be treated, but expect them to give you a good work, basically to come to work ready to work, okay? Don't let them walk all over you. I would highly suggest being ready to hire your first employee. Remember that, I mean, I can't promise that I give my guys 40 hours every single week. When it's slow, they might not get 40 hours, but I do everything I can to keep them employed and to make sure that they're happy. So try to take care of them and try to be honest with them about how things are going. If things are getting slow, give them a heads up. That way they know. Feel free to send me an email. We can talk about it some more. What would cause a send me an email there. All right. How do I know or troubleshoot internal crankcase heaters? Anthony, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one, but send me an email. We can talk about it some more. If these are really like more complex questions, you got to send me an email. So, because we might have to talk about it a little bit more. All right, gentlemen. I think I'm going to call this a little bit early. Joe Burke, send me an email, hvacrvideos@gmail.com. We can talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I really, really appreciate you guys. Again, hvacrvideos@gmail.com. Send me an email. I will be at the AHR show this week. Definitely go check out the HVACR Overtime channel. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and cue up the outro music. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, next live stream, as long as I have internet service from the AHR show, I will live stream from there. But if I don't have internet service, we'll figure something else out. But I will still have videos coming, okay? All right, I'm going to cue up the outro music. Gentlemen, have a good night, and thanks for coming in, okay? I really appreciate it.